So I did want to do a full review for Monster Energy Supercross 3. We did do a first look gameplay review, but I do want to do a full review kind of going over all the main parts of the game, you know, like customization, track editor, multiplayer, career, the physics, stuff like that. So we're going to start with the physics because I believe that's probably a part of the game that a lot of people are going to be most curious about, considering they did do a pretty hefty change to it. Physics are what I want to start off with first because I feel like if the gameplay physics suck, then the entire game is going to suck. Because if you don't have good physics, what do you have? You can have the best tracks, you can have the best modes, you can have the best multiplayer, but if the physics aren't good, then what do you really have? Nothing. The game won't be fun, it'll be not enjoyable at all. So the physics this year have changed a lot. They have, according to Milestone, they have completely scrapped everything and started from scratch. And you can feel it. They really did change it a lot. They really freed it up. In the air, you still have the whip where it's push the sticks together, pull them apart, does the whip. You can kind of manipulate it, make it a bit different if you lean the stick forward while you're pulling them apart or pushing them together. But it's still the Milestone whip. But they did free up the in-air physics when you just move the sticks to the left or right. Like before, you could kind of do it, but you didn't really move the bike or rider very much. And if you leaned back too far in the air, what happened? He fell off. Now you can actually do true back flips and true front flips because the physics are way more free. You can actually do a different kind of whip just moving the sticks, you know, like you would normally, just to the left or to the right or whatever. You actually have way more freedom in the air. So in-air physics, way different, way more free, and I feel like it is for sure a step in the right direction. It might not be there yet, but it is heading in the right direction. They just need to develop this and really take care of it and make the correct adjustments to get it to where it needs to be. And I feel like a lot of people, including myself, really love the reflex physics, and no, this isn't reflex, but you know, it is better as far as freedom goes compared to the first two games. As far as the cornering goes, the cornering is it's not as easy or as smooth as it was in the first game, but I feel like it's better than it was in the second game. I still feel like the second game, I mean, I played it so much that I kind of got used to it, but I still feel like the second game had somewhat of a delay. The cornering was a bit odd sometimes, and I don't know, I just never was a huge fan of it. And in one, it might have been too easy. This game is kind of in between. You kind of can, the bike definitely corners sharper and quicker, can kind of land into corners sideways sometimes, but it's not as easy as it was in the first game, but definitely improvement over the second game. And just overall, I'm actually really happy with it. I think they found a good balance between the two. So the cornering and the way that plays out in the game, I'm pretty okay with as far as right now. And the rhythm sections, just the way the game physics work are different. Yeah, you can still turn a big rhythm section into ginormous whoops, okay? That's just, yeah, you still can. You can still overjump in case and maybe not crash. Maybe you do, but maybe not. And I know that just really makes some people mad. I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it all over. I hear you. I see it. I understand. That is kind of annoying. But this year it does punish you a bit more because if you do overjump or if you don't land each rhythm in the rhythm section perfect, you can't really do it. I mean, you lose the momentum so fast in this game, it's ridiculous. It makes the game harder, adds that skill gap. It makes you really have to dial in and memorize the tracks, and you know, even treating track editor, you have to treat that a bit different because you have to build it a little bit different maybe to fit the way these gameplay physics work. It's just a different game, and I know people are watching saying this is just a copy and paste of the last one. It's not. It really isn't, and until you've played it, I guess you won't know. Because if you just watch it, maybe it appears that way, but it is tougher. It does have different physics, and it is a big change from 2. The air physics do feel a little bit more floaty than they have in the past. I kind of wish they were a bit less floaty. You know, we went from MXGP 2019, and that was like no air. And then we went to Supercross 3 here, and it's like really floaty. So something in between would be nice. I was pretty happy with how Supercross 1 and 2 were. So, I mean, as far as just how long you're in the air, I feel like 1 and 2 were pretty good about that. I already said it, but I feel like they're headed in the right direction, and with the correct development and care and time, dedication to really making the adjustments, I really believe we could have decent free physics in this game, and they could get rid of the canned whip eventually, and we'll just have free physics moving the bike left or right to do the whip. Maybe not for Supercross 4, maybe it's Supercross 5 or 6 or 7, but they just have to keep improving it. And even if you're not a fan of these physics, maybe you have to take a step backwards to take a step forwards. The physics are fun. They're fun, they're different, they're more free, and overall I feel like it's a good change. I feel like it's a good change for future games. I did an entire video dedicated to customization, but I'm going to go over it really quick here if you didn't see that video, or if you want a summarized version, basically. There was a comment, somebody saying that, well, you know, hey, gear companies maybe only make 5 to 10 new gear sets a year. Okay, makes sense. Maybe they can't put all 5 to 10 new gear sets in the game, and I'm okay with having some filler, you know, having some reuse, having some gear from Supercross 2 or MXGP 2019, but there was some gear from MXGP 3. Obviously, there was some from Pro, Supercross 1, Supercross 2, MXGP 2019. The gear from MXGP 3 has got to go. It's got to go. It's time. That's one of my favorite games from Milestone, but it's time to get rid of that. Put in some more new. And, I mean, maybe they can't get all 5 to 10 new gear sets in the game, but I didn't even feel like some of the gear companies had 5 new gear sets, you know? Maybe some of them did, but I didn't really notice it. So, I feel like the rider customization with the gear is very similar. You have some new, you have a lot of old for filler. And I already said I'm fine with some filler. I just feel like if you're going past MXGP 3, MXGP Pro, even maybe Supercross 1, you're getting too old. It's just, you could have filler from a year or two earlier. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the customization. The bike customization is very similar to how it has been too. It didn't get worse by any means, but it didn't really get a whole lot better. But I mean, Milestone has a great customization system. It's not the system that's the problem. It's the choices sometimes I feel like aren't there. And you have more presets for your custom rider, which is great. And we have official teams, okay? We have official factory teams, which is something pretty much everybody has been asking for. And you can kind of customize those teams a bit. You can't really the jersey and pants, but you can like the helmet, the goggles, the boots, and you know, whatever. The other part that kind of bothers me about the customization is they have a lot of the reuse for the face models, the tattoos, and I don't personally care very much because I play the game riding. So I have a helmet on, I have gear on. I don't see myself with tattoos and different head models, but they do reuse their face models. They do reuse some of the tattoos and stuff, but I'm mentioning it, I guess. I actually don't care at all, but I figured for the people that might care about it, I will mention that. Same with the celebrations. I feel like that's kind of a dumb thing in the game, but if you care about it, I'm not trying to offend you. I feel like they could put that development somewhere else, but whatever. And another thing that bothers me is the super generic font for the name and the number. It's always been like that. It's like, come on, man, because I play in third person a ton. Basically, I always see the back of my rider, and looking at that generic font for your name and number, it's just, come on, man, give me some cooler fonts, dude. Give me some cooler fonts, man. Give me some really cool stuff, you know what I mean? But it's again, this year, it's very generic. And then the size of the font for your name is really tiny. You can adjust it and make it bigger and smaller, but it's very tiny. It's very tiny and kind of hard to read. So customization, I feel like, is the same or maybe a tiny bit better, but I wouldn't say it's worse. It's just, I kind of feel like it's the same. And again, the system of the customization is really good. I just would like to see at least a little bit more choices if we're paying full price for a game. All right, so I also did a video just dedicated to the track editor, but if you missed that and you didn't see it, I will try to summarize it here. Basically, I feel like the track editor is similar to customization, and it didn't get worse necessarily. Maybe a tiny bit, but it didn't get better. It got better in a few areas. It got better because we can make more sand pieces, and the validation is more fun. Before, you know how you'd validate the track, you'd watch the AI really stupidly ride around your track and not hit it the way you want. Well, the AI still rides your track, but now you do a short 2-lap race against the AI to validate the track, which is cool. So the validation is kind of neat, and being able to turn a lot of the sections into sand is great, but I feel like they hurt the track editor because you can't flip a lot of the pieces. So the landings for a lot of the pieces that you use as landings for triples and stuff like that that are at a longer angle, you can't flip them anymore. I don't know why. You can't flip the triples, you can't flip the tables, can't flip a lot of stuff actually, and that sucks because a lot of us use the flipping option to build rhythm sections. They took away the mini triples that a bunch of us used in rhythm sections to transition through one section to another. They got rid of that really big rolled over. Some people used it as a wall, other people used it as a landing. They got rid of that. They got rid of, I swear they got rid of a few of the smaller jumps in the game too. Maybe some corners. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that's a statement, but I do feel like they got rid of some of the corners too. I could be wrong, but it felt like that. Oh yeah, and it's dark. Some of the indoor stadiums, I haven't tried them all, but some of those indoor stadiums are really, really dark. It's hard to see when you go in and test the track, race against the AI in the validation. It's really, really dark, and I get that they don't have the lighting. It's during the day, so you just have light coming in through the windows. It's cool. The idea is cool, but you're gonna have to brighten it. Like, it has to be a bit more bright because there's spots where you can't see the track, which is really annoying. So I really think that has to happen. Like, that has to be in an update. We have to get the indoor stadiums brightened so we can test them and actually see what's going on. Yeah, not being able to flip certain sections, taking some pieces away from us, definitely, in my opinion, hurt the track editor more than what they added to make it better. So for me, the track editor is at best the same, maybe a tiny bit worse because of what they took away from us. Now, maybe they change it in an update, but as of this review, they haven't. So the career in this game is kind of a disappointment. Last year, the career was better. You had the regular career part, the racing and all that stuff. That was similar to how it always is. But they had a weekly schedule you could plan. And in that, you had training and challenges and all that stuff. And that's all gone. Well, it's not gone. They pulled it apart. They separated the two things. Now you have the career of just the racing and challenges. Why separate that? That should be... You should improve upon that, right? You should elaborate on it. Make it better. Make the career more fun, more meaningful. It felt like last year they were doing a better job of it because you were training in the career, right? You were training in the career, so it felt like you were actually working towards something. You know, you were working towards improving your rider. And every time you would finish your training or your challenges and stuff and keep passing all the different levels, you were improving your rider. That was great. You needed to improve on that and make it better. But instead they take a big step back, separate the two, and make it its own category, not related to the career at all. Career definitely went backwards, in my opinion. They need to fix that for next game because I just don't find a ton of enjoyment playing the career. I just don't. And I want to enjoy the career. The authenticity of the career is great. The actual event is great. I don't know. You don't have anything else to make it feel more authentic and in-depth and whatever. So definitely career went backwards. Oh yeah, when you start the career, you actually do a first race at the compound to attract sponsors or an official team or whatever, and then you sign with them. You do like a partial season, and then you do 250 East or West, and then 450. Similar to how it has been in past Milestone games. The bike sounds, I feel like in Supercross 1 and 2 were fine. I mean, they could always be better, but I feel like I didn't have that big of a problem with it. Some people did, but I didn't. I really don't like the bike sounds in this game. I don't know, I just don't. Not for really any bike at all. Remember, an opinion here. I'm raising my hand. Remember, it's just an opinion. For me, I don't like the way the Honda sounds, and so on purpose, I have been avoiding using the Honda. Now, I did use it in a couple streams, and maybe by the time you see this video, I used it again, but I'm not a big fan of the Honda. The sound. I'm not a big fan of the sound of the Honda, and that's why I'm not using it. And the other bikes, it's not like they sound great either. I don't know why. I mean, if they wanted to start from scratch, that's fine, but I would have been okay if you would have basically used the similar or the same bike sounds. I would have been okay with that. I just feel like they got worse. I feel like they're definitely not as good as they were before. They all sound a bit different, with the Honda standing out, in my opinion, as the worst sounding bike. I don't know. I don't even know what to pinpoint about it. It has like a, I don't know. You just have to listen to it, but it just doesn't sound right to me. So, yeah, bike sounds definitely not as good, in my opinion, as they were in Supercross 2. Also, real quickly, we're going to go over the AI. I feel like the AI is the same, maybe not worse, but more inconsistent. Some tracks the AI is actually pretty fast at. I know Nashville, sometimes they can be kind of fast, and maybe Houston. I don't remember. There's a few tracks that the AI will actually kind of battle you. There'll be like 1 or 2 AI out front that'll actually kind of fight with you for a while. And if you make a couple mistakes, they might actually beat you. Now for the elitists out there that are the greatest at these games all the time, get the game, grind the heck out of it, and become #1 in the world, no, probably not. But for a lot of us that are very casual and just play these games occasionally, the AI on some tracks can be tough and fun. A lot of other tracks for a very casual player such as myself, I can destroy them without even trying. Consistency is something I would like to see Milestone implement with the AI. Make them consistently the same on all of them if they're going to be fast. Spread them out a bit. That ginormous pack. Spread them out a bit. Let the top few be really fast, and it should be a challenge. If you have one big crash or make a really bad mistake in a rhythm section, you should have to fight like heck to catch back up to him and get the win still. If you make a few mistakes, you're done. So the AI, just not very good. And oh, on custom tracks, they're horrendously bad. Like, I can't even, it's so bad. They're so bad. They're worse this year. I really feel like they're worse this year. I don't know. I really feel like they're worse this year on custom tracks. But overall, I feel like the AI is very similar. Okay, so multiplayer is a big part of these games, obviously. And if you played multiplayer in the past on a Milestone game, you know how the multiplayer can be. It can be a bit buggy and just not the best experience in the world. Well, they have the new dedicated servers, and they're actually pretty good. I have played a bit on them, not a ton, but a bit, and my experience at least has been very positive. It's been a really good experience, and the racing is very, very smooth. And you can search for lobbies. It's really cool. It is a huge improvement over past games. Now, if you're asking, there is no local split screen. I do get asked that a lot, so if I see that comment, I know you didn't watch the video. No, there is no split screen. And you can free ride the compound with your buddies, and there is Race Director. So there is some new features for the multiplayer, plus the new dedicated servers, which are pretty freaking awesome. So yes, online multiplayer has gotten significantly better, and I am pretty happy with it so far. So at the very end here, I kind of want to give my final thoughts on the game. I do feel like this game is very different from 1 and 2. I feel like it definitely has made steps in the right direction to set itself up for success in future games if they take the time to develop it and make changes that need to happen. Improve it, okay? Take what you have and improve it. Listen to the feedback of the community. You guys are the backbone of everything here. Without you guys, there is nothing, okay? Now, I'm sure that there's going to be some people that really hate this game. There always is going to be. You can have... I've seen people that said they really didn't like Reflex. My gosh, those are fighting words. But I've seen it. I have seen it. So not everybody is gonna love every game. You're always gonna have people that hate games, okay? You're always gonna have people that want to just be negative about everything. Well, fine. They have their opinions, and that's great. And they should constructively give those opinions to the company to tell them what they believe the game should be like. But then you have people that will love the game no matter what. I feel like they have a good product with this game this year, but it's not... I still feel like Supercross 1 is probably my favorite. It just felt like the most complete, solid game. This game, it feels complete, but it just doesn't feel right all the time. I'm enjoying the game a lot. I enjoy the differences. I enjoy the freeness of the physics. I enjoy pretty much everything about this game. But it doesn't feel complete in the way that I feel like they could stick with this core game and then just make it better, okay? You know what I mean? And in the future, we'll have that complete version of this game. I'm not saying it's an alpha or a beta. It is a finished game. I mean, I haven't ran into too many glitches or too many weird bugs, and it seems to run really smooth. And I am playing it on PC, though, and I have a really good PC, but it does run really good, and I haven't encountered too many problems. So it is a finished game. It's not like an alpha or beta, but I mean, like, I'm waiting for in a year or two, for it to be even better and them to improve upon what they already have. So overall, I really don't like giving numbers out for game reviews, but I know a lot of you guys like associating a number with a review, so I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. Yes, it could be a bit higher, or if you're someone else, it could be a bit lower, but I feel like it's actually a pretty solid game. I'm still wanting to play and learn and get faster. I want to get better. I feel like I want to get better. I want to play the game at its fastest. So for me, it's a very solid game, and I do believe this is a buy. I do believe it is a buy, not a pass, if you like moto games. If you're very casual and you have the second one, I guess maybe you could pass on it, but I just don't see... I really feel like this one is definitely worth picking up, simply because of how different it is, and the challenge of learning a new game, and the fact that I do believe that this is probably the hardest out of the 3 games to learn. No, it's not MX Simulator or MX Bikes, but for an arcade, simcade kind of game, this definitely feels like the tougher of the 3. So, fun game. I do recommend you buy it. And that's it. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. Let me know in the comments what you feel about, or how you feel about it. Give me your rating out of 10. What your least favorite and favorite parts are about the game so far. But again, you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. And until the next video, take it easy.